Hello, everyone. If you're new, welcome. If not, welcome back. I hope you've kept your brushes wet because it's 2 o'clock, it's Tuesday, and it's time for another live Arty class hosted by Shopkeep Arty, the online shop platform used by artists, galleries, schools and communities to help sell their art, gifts, prints and webinars while we take away the ordering processing hassles. Our Tuesday 45-minute paint-along Arty classes are attended by people from around the world and are designed to give you a concentrated burst of creative inspiration, as well as an introduction to the artist's longer 2 to 3 hour workshop webinar coming up soon. Our Arty classes are usually very busy with hundreds attending live, so we won't be inviting anyone in to ask a question directly to the artist. Instead, if you could type your comment or question in the Q&A, just like a lot of you have been doing now, that makes it a bit easier for me. In addition to these free Arty classes and our longer workshop webinars, we host special Arty classes and other events specifically for our patrons on Thursdays. For our patron community this month, in addition to our special Arty classes and the special launch event this Thursday, we've also got our open Zoom Christmas Eve party on the 23rd of December to look forward to. I've invited all of the 28 professional artists that we featured throughout 2020. And so far we've had confirmations from Vlad, of course, that I just got that just now, Jane Bettridge, David Bellamy, Graham Booth, to name a few. So it's going to be really fun, and it's going to be an open Zoom. I'm going to be giving prizes and things like that. Haven't quite planned it yet, but I'm working on it. And actually the materials list will probably involve food and drink, so look out for that one. Now, while we're on the subject of our patrons, I want to recognize some of our recent members. So let's press our button of thanks, which is just behind me, and recognize, oh, it didn't work that time. There we go. Esther Langrish, Sandra Markovich, Christelle Le Petit, Margaret Hunt, Marianne Lord, Valerie Powell, and Patricia McInnes-Cole. So thank you so much, everyone, for your support. That's fantastic. And I hope you can make the Christmas Eve party. Today, we're welcoming back Vlad Yeliseyev, a renowned watercolour and plein air artist who is a popular speaker and demonstrator at conventions in the United States, as well as a jury member and a judge of many national and regional watercolour and plein air competitions. His works won numerous prominent awards, including Best of Show, First Place, Collector's Choice, the Bold Brush Awards, and loads more. So, and he was very, very popular in the last Arty class we did, and also a workshop as well. So I'm really looking forward to today. As always, Vlad and I can't see or hear you, so do type your messages in the Q&A, and I'll get to that when I can, and when it's the appropriate time to put that to Vlad. Also, if you're on YouTube, there is a bit of a delay, but you can type your message there, and I'll do my best to put it to Vlad for you. I'm keeping my eye out on those messages as well. Finally, we'll stop around halfway to take a short break and ask Vlad to outline his exclusive workshop, which is taking place in just over a week's time on Thursday, the 17th of December. But for now, it's time to hand over to Vlad. Hello, Vlad.
Hello, everybody. Good to have you here. And let me say again, as usual, good morning, good afternoon, and good evening simultaneously, because it looks like we're being joined with painters from all over the world. And it's really an honor and a pleasure to have you here. So today we're going to work in Perugias. It's a small, authentic medieval town in France. And as an architect, it's considered to be a jewel of the one of the old architecture. And so I always moved by this authentic setting which we are going to work today. And in our workshop on 17th. I will invite you again there with a different view and a different approaches. But nevertheless, what stays is the same is the texturing. And I always like to, when I work on something, I always involve and kind of moved by the textures of the things I'm painting. It's not just like shiny or, you know, dull or rough. It's more like a texture of a time on the object. It's like old, new, something more like kind of impressionistic approach to the things which you have to convey as an artist, not just copy whatever you see, but just express what your feelings about it. Because I remember I've been there, and this is the photograph I'm going to show you, we're going to paint today. And I remember being there, I'm really moved, but looking at the photographs, there is nothing much left. And so as a painter, I would like to kind of convert this picture, which is basically like, you know, mindless and cold, into something which has emotion. And that is what I think is important, and we'll try to do it. Remember, I have very little time to start, so I'm just probably will go through basic things over there. But in our workshop, we're going in detail, and I talk about it in detail, and I demonstrate in detail as opposed to today. Today, we're going to get a taste of this watercolor, just the way we really approach it, and something very important and basic we need to keep in mind when we paint. Okay, so let's go to my table from the top view. Let me just remove some of the light which is on the way. Let me zoom out because I don't think you see everything. And here we are. And as you can see, yesterday I did my homework, and on the right, you see the sketch I've done roughly like 20 minutes. Remember, I always will tell you that sketches should be fast. And let's go. If John doesn't mind, I will show you my brushes, Kalinsky today. Okay, these two, number 16, 12, and rounds. They are we made these brushes with wonderful company in Britain.
Is that Rosemary?
Rosemary brushes, right? And
have they got your name along the side by any
right?
chance?
And we developed them together, by the way. So
yeah.
These brushes will, if you're interested, you can contact Rosemary Brushes directly and just purchase it from them. All right, so my friends, this is my palette, okay? And that's what we're gonna paint. I would like to keep it in front of you as well somehow. So I'll just, you know what, attach it over there with my tape. And of course, where is my tape? Nowhere to be found when you need it, right? So my friends, when you paint, you use this kind of tape. It's like no bright, no blue. It's masking tape, that's all, which has very settled color by itself. Very important. All right, let's start first washes with our Kalinsky brush, okay, which is also Rosemary brushes, by the way. And they had this brush before me, so they just, you know, say, Vlad, why won't you use this? And that would be nice. And I said, it's really good brush as well. So my friends, yellow ochre, okay, a little bit of orange. I'm going to paint first my lead areas. John, how is the picture? Is everything all right here? Let me.
It's okay. I think if we could maybe zoom in a little bit, I think that would be, but it's difficult, I know, because we want to show the palette.
I want to show palette, this and that. So we're painting the lead areas right now. So I'm going to zoom in and out.
Okay, fine.
As I paint during the painting. Now, okay, a little bit of alizarin right here with dioxazine, and a little bit of cobalt blue goes right here. Okay, so that's basically my players today for today. And I start from the, now I'm going to turn on my picture on my screen, and then I'm going like that. Okay, so I start from the top. You see the styles on the top. We're going a little bit red over there. It's going to be very rough painting. And I just go like this, okay? And then with this soft Kalinsky brush, and I'm going all over the objects here. And you see a little bit heavier orange. I'll just dump it here where the tiles are, okay? The stone is very warm color, very inviting color, and so, but I'm going to use more like ochres in that area, okay? Now, I don't pay attention to any textures at this point. To me, I'm painting the kind of light on the surface as opposed to just objects over there. So you see I'm going right through the objects. I will avoid the canopies or these awnings right here, you see. I just will try to, and I just try to get my oranges here a little bit. Okay.
Now, Vlad, we've had a question from Jennifer saying, do you ever use flat brushes at all?
I do, and also, I guess who is a maker of those rosemary brushes? Rosemary brushes in America actually being famous for their oil brushes. So when it comes to flats, I'm using their oil brush. And this is their oil brush, which is ivory short flat. I paint oils too, and so I'm using this sometimes. I don't use a lot of flat brushes, but when I need to, I will reach for this one. And so...
And Chris has asked, and I think you may have answered this in your last arty class you did, what brand of paints do you use?
What do? I'm sorry?
Your brand of paints.
Oh, this is Lucas. This is Lucas. I'm actually in a search now for different brand too, because you never kind of had it. But at this time, at this place, I'm using Lucas watercolors. This is German-made watercolors, which is very good quality, very professional quality, filled with pigment, very good. And so as you can see, there are no complaints at this point, but I'm still, now I used to like, mix and match watercolors, but I don't do that anymore because I like to make my shopping easy, as you know, and so I just fill my basket online with colors at once. And so I used to use different brands, but now it's mostly, and so I'm just feeling, we don't have to do it because we don't have time. I might just go darker right here. You see, this side of the building is in shade. So we can, if you look at the photograph, you can see that we can now go a little bit darker here. And you see what I'm doing here? Did you notice? Very important thing I'm doing, my friends. I'm mixing right on paper. This is quarter size honeymill paper, okay? And this paper I actually now use almost exclusively. And it's rough surface. That is, I think, important for me. You see, it leaves this kind of accidental marks over there. I think if you don't want to go that red, you can just mix your burnt umber. Look at this, burnt umber. I'm just putting it right here directly with cobalt blue, and that will get that greenish sort of tint. There's a lot of going on here, okay? And I'm looking at my sketch, and I'm just, my task is to quickly.
Is that red alizarin or Quin Rose?
This is yellow ochre gold right here.
Okay.
So, and that is, I'm mixing it with cobalt blue. We get even greener. You see what I mean? It's very close to the photograph. Yeah.
And what weight of paper are you using? Says
this is 140 pound. That's a weight I like. If I am on plein air and painting on, on location, sometimes I would just use 300 pounds. In terms of the grams, I think you double it. I think it's 600 or something outdoors. Why? Because you need to just, frame it on these events. You frame it, you paint it, frame it, and put it for judge to look at it. And if the paper is any lighter than 300 pounds, it might wave, and that heavy paper stays flat at all times, no problem. Right after you finish your painting. With this paper, 140 pounds, I think it's 300 grams, I'm sorry. With this paper, let me just now, I'm going to, you might want to even iron it, believe it or not, and that paper will hold it ironing just fine if you have to frame it quickly. Let me just turn on my fan and we're going to dry.
Al's asked, Vlad, are you using the high white paper?
This is, I think Hammermill just having white paper. They don't have that gradation.
Okay. And is your paper at an angle as well?
Now, yes, very important. My friends, the table I'm right now working on is about 30-degree angle towards me. In fact, the palette stays flat. I'm using this device I made myself. So you can see it's about 30 degrees, and it's very, for me, important the palette stays horizontal, okay? All right, I'm going to use it quite a few times today because we need to keep going. Next thing, you see what's unfinished is I'm going to paint the sky. We cannot leave the sky unpainted at this stage because it's very, very bright. It's kind of throw me everything off balance, everything I do. So I need to really mix it for the sky. There is a cerulean blue right here, as you can see very quickly, pam, 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 pam. And then I'm looking at my sketch. I decided to make sky just a notch darker than on the photograph to highlight everything which is lit over there. Make sense? And then this is my emergency dark. I'm going to explain later why is it for here. And you can use neutral tint right now. If you have neutral tint, just go and use it, okay? And that would be, and this things is just to darken quickly anything you want. So as you can see, that bright blue is gone. I don't want that bright blue here, you know, it's kind of too bright. Okay, so this is it. I'm looking at my sketch and I'm now going to use again, I'm going to find the only thing which is wrong with this Kalinsky brush. It has the same black handle. I would like to have something different, just like this one, so I can identify your Kalinsky brushes immediately when you need it. And watercolor, it's all about timing. Timing is everything in watercolor. Sometimes it's a matter of seconds and it's too late sometimes, you know, especially when you paint outdoors, which is, all right, which is sometimes could be windy, hot, and drying very fast. In fact, when I studied the watercolor, and we know that British are famous for their watercolors techniques. They used to, it's the climate, if it's too dry, it dries. They slow down the process of drying by wetting the paper from the back using the fabric, like kind of damp fabric they put under the paint, and so that would keep watercolor little bit wetter for a little bit longer, just enough for them to finish the job. So basically, look at this. I don't want to do the sky. I don't want to paint the sky very, very blue as well. Just, I wanted some blueness in it. And as you can see, I'm mixing right on paper again, creating like kind of interesting power, sort of interesting mixes, which is mixes by itself. You see what I mean? Now, look at this. If you want to darken the blue, for instance, you say this blue is too light, you can always just use emergency dark from here and darken it. I'm looking at the sketch, and the sketch told me that, Vlad, you can go and darken it right here, like this.
Is there any chance you could move the painting down just slightly so that it's
absolutely just, yes. Yeah, how about now? Because
yeah, that's great. That's great. And what colors are in your emergency dark, Vlad?
I'm usually mixing Usually I'm mixing indigo. This is whole thing here on my palette is indigo. I'm mixing my indigo now. And that's one of the things I'm looking for manufacturer who can provide me with wonderful indigo color because I'm mixing it myself right now. It takes time a little bit longer, and sometimes you don't have that luxury of time. And so another one is burnt sienna, and you mix them together. And then at the end, you're going to add the Daxazine violet or dark violet color in the mix. And basically that's what you will get is your let me see, you will get your neutral tint. Now, neutral tint, as we know it, it's just neutral. That's the name implies it, it's neutral. And what if you don't want it that neutral? What if you want it on a warmer side? What if you want it on a cooler side? And then what you're gonna do? So I was mixing my neutral tints in the warmer and cooler side, and then it occurred to me, hey, why won't I just mix my neutral tint myself? And these three colors actually came into play. So let me see, let's keep going.
Chris has asked a good question. Often artists paint the sky as a background wash first, and he noticed that you didn't in this case. Could you explain why?
Very simple, very simple. Very common questions, by the way. And it's a good question. In watercolor, we paint from light to dark. If the sky happens to be lightest of them all, I would paint with the sky, no problem. But in this case, it is not the case. So I'm going to start with my lit area right here, and then gradually going darker, 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 and darker. I don't know who started this. I heard before that you start with the sky no matter what. I think in my case, I just decided that it's not really working for me, and I am painting from light to dark no matter what. Objects, sky, I just gradate them into this scale of darkness and just follow that rule from light to dark, which does make sense. I hope I answered your questions, because when you paint something which is darker than lighter, you don't know how much lighter you should go. What if you lost your now, my friends, what if you lost your gradation kind of sequence? You know, it's kind of sort of think of it as a mathematical equation, the process of the painting at this stage. And then it's very important to us to keep that sequence intact from light to dark, and how much lighter and how much darker. It's very important. My friends, right now I decided it's time to...
Sarah's asked, when you mix the paint on your paper for your sky, you didn't get the cauliflower effect. What did you do to prevent that?
I keep it wet. I'm using a lot of water, my friends. That's a key. That's a key not to get, and that's actually a practice thing. You know what I mean? To use just enough water so it wouldn't dry in one place and still be wet in another. And that is very, 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 very important. Another thing is that you use just practice. Practice makes perfect sense. You always know how much water to use, and that is important. My friends, I'm going to texturize it. Look at this. So I'm going to use, this is the test. I think it was too overboard, a little bit too, it's kind of darkish orange, and I'm going to, it's too soft to make this, the paper is a little bit too still damp for this, but it's okay, we don't have time, we just go, you know. And sometimes it's like doesn't really act and behave the way you expect it, and it's okay, don't fix anything, just keep going. And look at this, what I'm doing here is creating a sort of distress. And that's why I'm using paper, my friends. I'm using paper, rough paper, and that really helps. If it would be cold press of any cold press in it, or any, something. Now we need to fix this because this doesn't really the wall, but this dry brushing over there is helping me. And I'm actually going to go a little bit around this area, a little bit maybe somewhere redder, cooler, and then we're going to splatter it as well too. Okay, and I like to keep this actually pretty bright. So let me see what I've done. I'm looking at my sketch. I'm not looking at the photographs. You see, I keep my sketch all the time right in front of me, all the time to consult it, how dark it is, how light it is. For the color, I'm going to use my photograph, but for the light and dark or tonal values, or what we call it just values, I'm using my sketch. All right, so a little bit darker right now. You see I'm darkening it slightly. That's
Jennifer's asked,
stage.
what's that? Jennifer's asked, what's that yellow paint in the top left of your palette?
This is orange. I mixed it, my friends.
That one, yeah.
So cobalt, cadmium yellow, cad red. You just add it into yellow ochre. You will get that wonderful, wonderful sort of kind of color right here. And that is how it is done. I don't buy oranges, people. I don't do that. Orange is very subjective thing. It could be more yellow in the orange. It could be less yellow in the orange. You see? So we splattered it. You see, I'm working still. It's what we call it half tones here. And it's still lit area. Half tone is a lit area. And so you see what I mean? So basically, I don't touch, we can fill it in slightly here. It looks awkward. Okay, that's fine. It's going to get dark even later. So now, very settled this. Not much white paper I'm leaving here. It's kind of like, leads me from there to there, from there to there. And so we can also splatter it a little bit more with cooler mix of alizarin and yellow, of this yellow and just slightly blue, just a little bit more. You see, a little bit more. Okay, and I think I'm ready to rock and roll with my darks, but I need to dry it first. So,
any chance of just zooming up into the painting so we can see it in a bit?
Zoom in. Let me see. Hold on for a second. I'm going to. I don't see what you see. So because there is. Aha. Okay. All right. Let's go for zoom. Okay, and
yeah, I think that's actually quite good. Yeah,
this is good. Okay,
I think actually if you just zoom back a little bit, it becomes fuller in the picture, but it's closer.
All right. Okay. All right.
Just
how about
there? Perfect.
There. Okay. All right.
I think that's good.
Excellent. All right. So again, I'm going to use my dryer to speed up everything. Okay, and so let me see. And we are back. Great. Now I'm removing this now because now it's back to 30 degrees. And you just use something like whatever you have, change the angle, you know what I mean, by the way you need it. And usually when I paint the sky, I make it not like about 30, but about like 10 degrees is quite enough. Otherwise it's just going down and then you have rainy sky kind of feeling, and that is not good. So
now we're sort of coming up towards the halfway mark, Vlad. So I don't know whether now's a good time or whether we should start with the darks first, or what do you think?
Well, darks, I'm going to start with darks. You're not going to stop me because it's unstoppable after that. So if you would like to make a short break, let's do that now. Yes.
Okay. Well, it's just to talk about your upcoming workshop, really.
Yes.
talk about that. Just have a chat. So how are you enjoying it? It's moving very quickly, and sorry I can't get to all of your questions. We do have hundreds watching, as I said, and there's a torrent of questions coming into our chat and also on YouTube. So apologies I can't get to all of them. But if you are watching on YouTube and you are enjoying what you're seeing, all our artists really love a thumbs up. So if you do get the opportunity, if you could press the little thumbs up icon, that would be great. Makes them feel appreciated, and it's good for the YouTube algorithms as well, so that more people can find the video. Now, as covered at the beginning, this short class gives you a great flavour of what's to come in Vlad's proper online workshop. It's usually around 2 to 3 hours, and he'll walk you through a complete painting step by step from start to finish. It's both immersive and relaxing because there's a lot more time and a lot less people. We actively encourage you to get involved also if you want to speak directly to Vlad. So it's a really lovely event, and live events are really the best for learning lots of their tips and tricks, and therefore improving your art. The price to attend is just £38, or the equivalent in US dollars is about $50. We do have limited spaces on the workshops, so if you are interested, I'd recommend that you sign up today. So Vlad, just to give us a bit of an idea, what are you actually going to be covering in your workshop?
Well, I'm usually going into it's all about the brushwork, basically. Last workshop was mixing colors, and now we're going into brushwork. How is it we're using our brush as a tool to convey sense of texture, to convey sense of light? Where to use, very important to know, where to use dry brush, where to use wet on wet, how to make these smooth transitions, plus colors on the top. It's very, very informative workshop. You will really learn not only just how to paint things, you're going to learn how to paint light, and that is most important, using your brush, and how to spend not countless hours in order to show the object. Yeah. How to make it expressive, how to make it impressionistic, how to make people, when they look at your work, how to make them believe what you have done just with a few brush strokes. That's what the power of watercolor is. And that's what we're going to concentrate on, that particular workshop. And I just repeat for you, it's just like basically mostly visual things, because look at this, I repeat, when we walk in the environment, in a setting, be it like Paris, London, be it a countryside, our perception of the world is different than when we're looking at the photographs taken later. Did you notice sometimes you're walking around, take photograph, and then you look at it and you don't even know, why did I take that photograph? Because your experience was different. Does it make sense? So and then painters sometimes just copying these photographs, and then again, nothing happening. So instead of copying photographs, how to express your feeling of being there, the feeling of that kind of moment when you were there. That's what's important. That's why we love fine art. And that's why when we are in museum, we're never getting tired looking over and over at these pictures on the wall, because they convey your senses of things, not the actual factoid elements. Make sense? So, and we're going to talk about it, and I'm going to explore it in this workshop, and we're going to practice painting it.
No, that's brilliant. Really well explained that, Vlad, as well, because I've got a lot of those photos where I think, why the heck did I take this photo? Right. And yeah, no, it's totally true. So what I'm going to do, I'm just going to quickly share my screen to show you how you can book onto Vlad's workshop. So you literally visit shopkeeparty.com. You click onto Arty Classes, you scroll down, and eventually you'll come to Vlad's workshop, which is on the 17th of December. You click on See Details, and in here it will explain about the workshop, and it gives you an example painting and the reference photo. Those will be obviously sent to you in advance as well, so that you can download them and print them yourself. And if you want to attend, you click this link that says book your webinar ticket, and it goes through to Vlad's shop, and you can purchase a ticket for the webinar. If you can't make the date for whatever reason, you can also purchase the video, and the video costs £45 if you're not attending the workshop, but if you are, you get a discount and you can purchase it for £20. So hopefully that makes it very clear. Right, let's hand back to Vlad for part 2. Vlad.
All right, hello again. All right, I'm back to my table, right? And that's what you're gonna see here is picture right here. All right, so I wiped out everything from here, from my palette, because that thing has too much water, and I'm going to mix for my darker halftones and cast shadows. Not halftones, I'm sorry, shades and cast shadows. That's important. Again, now we're going to use mostly synthetic brushes. These Rosemary's brushes I showed you just a second ago. And I'm going to take a medium one. So now I'm going to put my burnt umber right here. Okay, it has a lot of red in it. And now I'm going to put my dioxazine right here with a touch of alizarin and cobalt blue here. Now I'm going to restore my emergency dark on this part of the palette. Sometimes I just don't use it, but it's always there.
Vlad, is it possible that you can move your palette just slightly? So
okay, all right. Okay, let me.
We want to see all the painting. We want to see all the palette.
Okay, all right. Here we are. Okay, here we are. And I will lift it slightly. Hold on. And I need to put something there. And it is going to be, it's going to be something like, I want to put something, okay, something like that. Okay. Now I want to, all the time, I keep in front of me, my friends, that sketch, okay, all the time, and the photograph, okay. So, and I mix these two together, and now I'm adding dioxazine and mixing it into something, at this time, warmer, you see, warmer, okay, warmer, more inviting, right here. But I keep the cooler part on the right side, okay? So I think the picture is pretty good here. Now I consult to my sketch, and my sketch says, I'm not mixing on paper at this stage because it's actually the area is too small to cover. It's much easier now to mix it on my palette. And I'm going to start, I jump into action immediately. So let me see. Okay. I keep the very top, like a thin line here is bright. It's like our actual tiles here. You see, that's how we're going to do it right here. Okay, and then under, we're going to continue with our cast shadow. This is shade area, by the way, underneath of the overhang, okay, right here. And I'm just basically, look at this, my friends, I'm copying my sketch. I'm going to leave these areas here as if unfinished, okay? And look at this, I'm going to keep going. I already outlined and have drawn my cast shadow because I knew, I usually don't draw that. I usually just, and then we have tiles, look at this, tiles kind of, okay. Sort of kind of like a cast shadow from the tiles itself.
Vlad, any chance you could just move the painting down? Just
down, yes, we're going
perfect.
down. That's now,
perfect,
yeah.
Great.
And I'm going to go right here. You see? And then immediately what's important here, I think while it's wet, you see timing. Remember I told you about the timing? It's very important to make this darker. And the methods I'm using is wet on wet at this point. And I'm just like, you know, just like you can, okay, you can go like this. Let's fill it up a little bit. And and do this. Okay. And then while we're on a subject, I'm using just my emergency dark. I'm looking at the sketch. My eyes now all the time at the sketch, and I see there is one window, okay, right here. And then there is another window. And you see how soft it is? It's very soft. You can actually, if you want, to give a hint of some detail in this area, okay? And then another window right here. I'm going right into this. And I'm using, you see, emergency dark, which is mixed. And we're going to talk about, of course, also, I will introduce you to the theory of color mixing and everything. And so look at this. This edge, for instance, a little bit too tight, a little bit too straight. So I'll just soften it with this brush and call it a day here. Maybe not a day yet. I'll just dump some color in it, okay? And I'm looking at this. It has a little bit of orange. I feel like there is like, so I'm mixing heavier mix of this orange, and next to this, it's gonna be just fine. Next, a little bit lighter. I'm going to take care of this area. Now I'm going to switch to number 10 synthetic right here. Brush and cover this. No, now look at this. I lost a little bit light here on the right side, unfortunately. I'm going to restore it later with white gouache. Okay, so, but basically what I'm going to do, I'm going to just go and paint it, you know, just like I'm looking at my sketch. I'm looking at my sketch. It says darker here, you see? And we immediately creating, look at this, how three-dimensional everything over there become. It's just because we're not painting really actual things. We paint the light over there on the object of this roof. And so you see what I'm doing? And basically, no, I like this sketch. It's really something, and it's going to be darker. My sketch says, look, Vlad, go darker. Now, we're going to have later, right, John? We're going to have sketching workshop, right? Do we plan it already or not?
Yes, we've got a date in January. And I think what we'll do, we'll obviously market it after your workshop in just over a week, but anybody that attends the workshop next week with you, we may offer them a discount on that sketch.
That would be wonderful, yes.
So that's going to be in, I don't know quite what date, I'll come back to you on that.
Absolutely.
But it's going to be a sketching workshop, isn't it? You're going to go through the
Yes, exactly. Why we're doing the sketches, what's involved in the sketches. And it's going to be every 3 workshops we have done, by the way, John, we not have done, we're planning to do. They have make perfect sense. They all connected. It's not just like what we paint today, flowers, tomorrow kitties. No. It's all about real deal things. All right. I'm going in the back a little bit. Okay. And
now, Mary Ann's asked for the workshop that's coming up. Could you supply the line drawing beforehand? And I think we did do something like that on the last one, didn't we? So will you be providing that for next week's one?
Absolutely. You will be provided with the pencil layout and the sketch, by the way, because we won't probably have time to do that at the time. So basically everything will be provided to you, and you can just beforehand and look at this shadow there on the roof from this, because we're looking at the chimneys here in the shade. So basically, and then what I'm looking at the sketch again. So everything will be provided to you. Yes, absolutely. And you can prepare, no stress. I learned my lessons, my friends. I learned my lesson because I used to work hard. I used to work in a way, I thought everybody just like me, but in reality, I know people need some time because they're learning experience I understand it's very tough. It's very tough. And so basically, I feel like my job is to make it as easy as possible in terms of the technical issues. So basically, everything we think about you and provide you beforehand, so everything will be done at the time you want, at the time you can do it, and everything should be look at this. Okay, so basically we're going and now I'm going to introduce a very large cast shadow here in this area. Okay, so and basically I'm on the same subject here because it's all.
Now, whereabouts would you say the source of light is coming from?
It's coming from the
right,
source of light in front of me, coming from the top right. You see what I mean? So, and that's what.
So Carol's asked, when you purchase the video rather than the workshop, do you have access to it indefinitely? So the answer, Carol, is yes. So what we do is we unlock it for you on YouTube, and you can access it. You have a special link and you can access it however, and you can access it through our website, and it'll always be unlocked for you. So hopefully that helps.
You see the sign is against the light. That's why I darken it. Makes sense? So everything is here. Now, because this is larger area, I always will try to mix on paper. You see what I mean? That is kind of the key to make it. Why? What you talking about all the time, this paper? My friends, you know what's happened? I painted, and it's usually when you study, it's kind of you paint, and at the same time, there's sometimes dreadful results, like overworked watercolors. Sometimes, it's kind of look like, as if somebody was like painting under pressure and everything. And so I decided, and then I looked at my palette, and the like colors on the palette is fantastic. You know what I mean? And then that makes me think, what is wrong? Why is it when you bring it to the paper, I think we're a little bit over mixing. So if you're going to mix, try to mix on paper. It's just my general advice to you, and you will see results will follow. And look at this. So we're going to go like this. It's a little bit cooler. It's a little bit cooler here. So I'm going to add a little bit of, and keep it fresh as you can. Now we're going into this area.
I'm just giving you a time check here, Vlad. So we're probably going to be bringing this to a close in 10 minutes maximum.
Okay. So, all right. So look at this, my friends. Look what we're doing here is I should probably try to talk less and paint more.
You actually said at the start you weren't planning on talking very much in this one.
Okay, so I'm not talking. All right. So now, okay. So
you
look
can't
at this.
help it. I know.
Right here. I cannot help it. Yeah. You're right. And so we have this area, which is very important now. You see, because it's all about this area, my friends. I mean, this is like a basically sort of a stage for this, so to speak. Does it make sense? So
there's a few people that have asked to see the sketch, but I don't quite the value sketch, but I don't know whether we can fit it in along with everything else, to be honest.
Yeah, it's very hard. You can just, print your screen right now and you will see that. Okay. So there is, okay. So basically that's, and then we have a few people here. I'm going to do it very, very fast right now. Look at this. We can do, there is like a look at this.
Right, now, come on, everybody that's painting at home, keep up.
Keep up, right. And then I'm going darker here. Look at this. And then what we have here, okay. And then what's most important here is basically that giant big shadow here. Bam, bam, look at this. That's what we want to see, kind of just, and that is turning around. I'm going to remix my emergency here. Look, and just go this way. There are a couple of people here. Look at this, fast, bam, bam, and and we can add color later, okay? And that is my shadow from the building on this building. That's what this dark element is for here. And then I'm going around this canopy, which I didn't even paint. That's the only thing unpainted in my painting right now. So let me just go like this, and look at this. A bigger brush, so that small brush, okay? The brush was too small. And
just to let those of you, because Jane Senior said, impossible to keep up, wish I'd sketched it out first.
Yeah, just watch it.
Don't worry, Jane, sit back, watch it. But you can just go to YouTube, type in Shopkeep Arty on YouTube, and it should come up as a live thing that's happening now. You can always go back in time on that, so you can watch it on YouTube anyway.
Absolutely. And so look at this darker. I'm dumping wet on wet here, okay? Technique, okay? And a little bit like this, okay? Something dark over there. Look at this beautiful made yourself. It's called Major Self Emergency Dark. Cast shadows here. Look at this. Okay.
Chris asked, could you explain why you moved from using Kolinsky for the background wash to using synthetic for the subsequent layers?
You see, because of the edges, I want just this broken edges somewhere. And so Kolinsky is soft fiber brush. Not gonna do that to me. You see what I mean? It's not gonna help me. And so, again, let's just finish the painting. If you will give me 15 minutes, John, can you do that? We can finish this painting basically.
Go on then. Go on
as
then.
a sketch.
I've got a workshop with Keiko Tanabe at 3:30.
Okay, all right, okay. Oh, Keiko is a good friend of mine.
I'm flying to the other side of the United States.
All right, so look at this, my friends. Da, 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 da. This is all dark. So don't be shy. We already, if you want to accentuate some things over there, and then da, 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 and together. Okay, and then we can mix a little bit with blue, and then we
move
can
the painting down just slightly. Just move it down.
Move it down. I'm going down myself. So okay, so this is pa 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 pa, and this is like a little bit like this. Remember, and then we have a very bright red something there. Da da da.
Pierre said, I've finished already. Come on, Vlad, speed up. Ha ha ha.
Yes, I know. I'm too slow, talking too much, you know. So where we are, we're almost good. I mean, look at this. Pa 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 pa. Remember this red fabric? Did you see this red fabric over there? Why won't we just do it right now? Down, right here, heavy. You see, there's something there, and then it has quite a few. I like these directional things over there. In fact, if you make it a mystery a little bit for the people, that would be just fine. And then we have what? We have this, some kind of, just some things, you know. And then there's like a commercial board sticking out from here. Now we need to jump to the small one, you see? Small brush, okay, like almost calligraphy. I would use this sword brush, which Rosemary Brushes has on website. I don't know, do they have it or not. Last time I asked them to send me, they didn't send me much of those because they're so popular, they probably didn't have them themselves. So, oh, look at this. We are, when it will dry, I will make a little bit more definition in this area. So we are almost sort of. Let me warm it up here, and let me show you how that works. This brush is very kind of has character on its own. It just paints what it wants by itself. Look at this. Okay, so now I wanted to give some color to people. You see, when you look at the photograph, have a look at this photograph. What did capture your attention? I think it was that kind of red over there. It could be somebody like wearing red over there and another person right here. I like combination of red and orange, but instead of flowers, I'm using actually, you know, I'm using like t-shirt could be in this color. You see what I mean? Something could be something in this kind of regard. And then there is a table here, which has a little bit of red in it too. So that's a little color we can introduce here along with this red. It works very well. And then we can let me just.
Sandy said that she's got your sword brush by Rosemary & Co. And she said it's a very valuable tool. So
it is, yes. And we don't have much left here, by the way. So, and look at this. I'm going to introduce.
Your head's in the way a little bit, but it's.
And I'm going to introduce. Yep, absolutely. I introduce a little bit of this and that, and then greens. Let me show you just little greens right here. Look at this. I did not forget my greens. I mix my greens, as you know, if you already joined me at least once, you know, I don't use greens from the stores. I mix my greens, and you look at this like lovely spring color green right here. And we're going to introduce it on a wall because there is something like that. And if you want to darken it, look at this. I will use a darker, it's actually pretty dark. It's in cast shadow. Another part of this green is in cast shadow, so we can use and mix something like this here. You see, and and just bring it a little bit here. So
Susanna asked at some point, would you add the cobblestones on the foliage? Or
cobblestones, exactly. Cobblestones, I'm waiting because I want to make them like this. Look, just little splatter right now here.
Okay.
And just give it a hint and let it go. But in this area, I think we are missing a lot of texture. And so that is, I was going to introduce earlier, but then we made a break and then I changed kind of.
You're blaming me. I knew it.
No, of course, no. I think it's time. What I call it like a unifying wash, my friends. I can use a large synthetic number 14 brush here and mix into something distressed wall right here because it didn't really stick. I didn't forget, it just didn't stick. So basically I think it's very important to just give it somewhere. Look at this, a little bit of distress, okay? A little bit of softening right here, you see, right here. I give it a mystery a little bit, okay? And splatter it here. And I keep this light area. Okay, and just I need to continue this area there. So it continues kind of, you see what I mean, from behind. And then I'm going to use again, keep going with number 14, and I'm going to restore my emergency, okay? And I'm just going to make it, I should have waited till it dries, but John doesn't want to give me any time anymore. So I think
blaming me again.
Oh, I'm sorry. Okay, somebody needs to take a blame for. All right, look at this. Okay, so we're going to give it a little. Yeah, this watercolor is fine. I mean, the maker, it gives me everything I'm asking. Just some colors sometimes you know. Oh, you see, everything I do, I kind of trying to and make it this thing.
Okay,
right
while you're keeping on doing that, I'm going to just sort of interject a bit as we're getting up towards the hour. So you can keep on painting a while but it's very speedy. The first arty class we did with Vlad, it was full on, and it's been a very similar one again today. So I hope you've enjoyed it. You can, as some of you have been saying, Sarah, with regards to YouTube, literally just search for Shopkeep Arty on YouTube or Shopkeep Easy, because we've got two different channels. Shopkeep Easy is our channel. If you search for that, you'll see all our videos. If you subscribe, incidentally, and press the little subscribe button, you'll get notified every time we have a live screening. So that's really worthwhile doing. And also, we send an Arty newsletter every Saturday morning UK time, so it depends what time it is your time, and it highlights everything that we've done that week. So we'll put a link to the YouTube video on our Saturday morning newsletter as well. So what Vlad and I would most like out of all this is to see your beautiful paintings. So please do post them. And we have a Facebook post on our, if you go to Facebook, you type in Shopkeep Arty again, and you'll see the post for this particular Arty class. And if you can take a photo of what you've done, or maybe you haven't quite finished it yet, or Pia, I know you said you'd finished first out of all of us. If you could just take a photo, put it on there, and then we can all have a look at them. And if you like paintings that you see, please do like them, because it's really good. And we show some of the highlights on our Saturday newsletter as well. Anyone that's got the most number of likes will kind of share that painting so that you can all have a look at it. So it's always great to have a look at that. And you might even get some critique comments from Vlad as well. So it's really well worth sharing your painting. If you've got any comments that you'd like me to read out to Vlad while we've just got a few seconds left, by all means, just type them in and I can relay them to him. But it's been fantastic. Also, his workshop, I showed you how to go about ordering that. As I said, we do have limited spaces. So if you do want to take part in that, I'd probably recommend that you do that today. So Vlad, how are we getting on? Is it looking?
Basically it needs to dry in order for me to continue, and it's like soaking wet right now.
Yeah,
so
it
will
is
take me at least 5 minutes just to dry it. So, and then go with calligraphy on top. You know what I mean? Calligraphy, give it detail, give it just a soft definition to things, and it will be done. But basically, what I want to convey is a highlight in this area, like a focus on this area, everything else, and texturizing and working with soft brush and dry brush.
Yeah.
And that is what it's all about today.
Yeah. So let me just read out a couple of comments. So first of all, from Anonymous, this was my first time to join such a session. Man, this was awesome. Very informative. Fantastic as always. Really looking forward to the 17th, said Karen. Another well done job, said Margaret. Excellent. Thank you, said Roberta. Sandy, Vlad is so much fun to watch and listen to. I appreciate the time shared. Helen, fantastic demo. Always love watching Vlad. Just marvelous. Many thanks. Bravo from Helen in Venice, Florida. Jackie, will you leave the awning white? Interesting question. Jackie, thanks again and nice fun. Thanks from Nova Scotia and all our watercolor artists from Edward. Brilliant Vlad from Sue. Thank you so much. Kathleen, thank you. Wonderful. Trina, thank you, John and Vlad. You're both so generous with your knowledge, information, etc. Lots and lots of thanks and congratulations. I'll put it back to the painting again because I know we all want to kind of see that. Would you mind just moving it down just slightly so we can see the whole? Yeah, perfect. It's captured the light really well, that Vlad. When you've finished it, I know you're going to do a few more little finishing touches. Would you mind posting that up on the Facebook post as well?
Absolutely, I will do that, my friends. And the question about the awnings, I might go a little bit over that with a very light half tone, but it's gonna happen later. It needs to be bone dry now, everywhere, in order for me to make a definition. What we did right here, right now, is just throw in some basic values right here and colors. So if you want this red and this, you can go dry brush on top. Okay, you can go some lines later with your calligraphy brush. It could be a liner. It's not necessarily needs to be the sword brush. It could be any brush, but sword brush just does the job a little bit better. So, but that's what we've done. Okay,
perfect.
So
yeah,
wonderful.
Really looking forward to seeing that. Again, thank you so much for joining us. Hope you enjoyed our Arty class hour. It was certainly very frenetic and fun, and really hope you can join us next time. I'm now off, flying over to the other side of America to join Keiko Tanabe in San Diego for a 2 to 3 hour workshop. So if you're going to that one, I look forward to seeing you there in 20 or so minutes. But until next time, it's goodbye from me. And obviously, thank you so much and goodbye to Vlad.
Thank you all. Thank you, John, for hosting me. Thank you, everybody.
Take care.
Good night.